Hello and welcome to the next in our series of Right Book Author Talks. I'm absolutely delighted to have our guest today with us. Anne Jones is a speaker, healer, humanitarian, and the author of over 10 books, such as Heal Yourself and Healing Negative Energies. These books have sold tens of thousands of copies, and they've been translated into numerous foreign languages across the world. Welcome, Anne Jones.
Thank you, Sue. Lovely to be here with you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you, Anne. And just following on from these incredible publishing achievements, I should just add that in 2022, we were absolutely honoured to be invited to work with you on this book, How to Heal, Release Your Past, Reclaim Your Energy, Revive Your Joy. I thought I'd just read something from the back while people are absorbing this lovely, lovely book of yours. It was a wonderful thing that was said by Sue Stone, the TV presenter and transformational leader. She said, "A truly valuable source of wisdom, guidance, and practical advice. Wherever you are in life, it will assist you in healing, releasing, transformation, and your own personal empowerment." That's an amazing accolade. And I want to come back, Anne, to dig into How to Heal, because obviously it's the book that we've been absolutely delighted to work with you on. But I wonder if perhaps we might just start off with a bit more of an introduction and a bit of an exploration about where all this amazing work has come from. And I know that you worked in IT, you worked in banking. I mean, a very different world. Yet now you're a healer, you're a teacher, you're an internationally renowned spiritual guide and an advisor, and you've moved into a very, very different world. Can you tell us a little bit about what took you down this path?
Yeah, it was quite a drastic change. Actually, when I hear you say it, I think, oh my God, yes, it has changed. My life did change quite radically. Yes, I started off in the computer industry years and years ago. I'm a bit of a dinosaur, as they say. It was right at the beginning of IT. And that was an interesting life and fulfilling. It took me around the world, actually. Interestingly enough, I went to lots of different countries because I was an international sales. So I had a big patch that covered half the world for my computer company. So that was exciting. And then I got married, and my husband got posted to Malaysia. And I'm not supposed to make too much of that because it makes it sound like I'm a camp follower. I always think that's quite funny because I'm not exactly camp follower type of a person. But we decided it would be fun to do that. And I'd decided that I'd had a bit of enough of the big corporate world at that time. And there was a new opportunity. So I went to Malaysia and I was teaching again. I can never stop teaching. I think there's something in me. It must be some commitment somewhere that once I learn something, I have to pass it on. And I was teaching about how to use PCs. This was quite a new thing at the time, desktop computers. And I was teaching the expat women. And I'd had a morning teaching, and the afternoon I was just taking a rest, which you can do when you're an expat because you've got somebody to do the washing up, the cleaning, and the cooking, and everything. It's quite a good life, really. The greatest secret ever, I think. So anyway, I was just relaxing. I wasn't sleeping. I was relaxing on my bed. It was one of those few times where I was quiet because I had quite a full life then. And suddenly I heard a voice. Now, it wasn't a voice that I could say was shouting in the room, but it was so loud that I sat upright. Okay, so this was definitely an attention-seeking situation. And the voice I mean, it's a disembodied spirit of some kind. I mean, I realized afterwards it was my spirit guide. I didn't know anything about spirit guides at that time. All I knew was this voice saying, "Isn't it about time you started healing?" We're a bit bossy, really, Sue. I mean, come on, wake up, woman, get on with it. That sort of a voice, you know. And so I asked what. I mean, this is the ridiculous thing. I started speaking back to this voice. I mean, if, you know, anybody would think I was completely loopy, but anyway, I did that, and the voice repeated, "It's time to start healing," and I said, "Well, what do I do?" And the voice said, "Speak to Sal." Um, and then it's like the telephone line closed and the phone went down, and I'm sitting there, like, but now I can't tell you, I was like a frisson that was going through me. Like, I call these energy rushes, which of course I've got used to now, are like I call them whooshes. I'm sure you know that feeling when something amazing happens. You can have this, there's special times in your life when something goes wow, and you get the goosebumps, you know, that feeling. This is what it was like, only like really extreme.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. That was the mood and the feeling. And, you know, then, you know, that feeling when things are right. It's like when you meet the right man, or hopefully, or the right woman, when you get the job that you think, oh my God, this is absolutely perfect. That's how it felt. So I only knew one Sal, and she was on my committee. I had I was running a magazine for the expats as well, and she was on my committee. So I thought, well, I'll have to approach her. Well, what's she going to say? Oh, the sun's got to you, Anne. But I walked up to her, and I walked up to her because that evening, of course, there was an event where she was there, and I knew I'd see her there. So I pulled her to one side and said, "Sal, I've got to talk to you." And she smiled and she nodded. And I said, "I've got to talk to you about healing." And she said, "About time too." I know, it's incredible. "About time too," she said. And she said, I'll send you some books around. And she sent me some books by Betty Shine. Now, Betty Shine was a lovely, down-to-earth English. She was an opera singer, actually, that then became a healer. Again, a sort of bit of a drastic lifestyle change. And she wrote some great books. Again, very down to earth. I'd like to think I'm down to earth with my writing, because this is for everybody, not just a few people who are floating above the earth, you know, doing woohoo. And she said, "Read these books, you'll remember everything. It'll come second nature to you. And I'll see you when we get back from holiday." And that next day I was going on holiday to England, and I was reading these books, thinking, I can do this, I can do this. Literally passing love and just doing it, really. Just putting your hands on someone and things start to happen. So that was a very exciting start. And when I spoke to Sal afterwards, she said, "You know, I've been told by my spirit guides in meditation," it turns out she's a healer, a bit of a closet healer. She doesn't do it very openly. She does it at distance healing. She said, but she said, "My guides came and told me that you would be approaching me." And I said to them, "Well, shall I go and speak to Anne?" And they said, "No, wait for her to come to you." And it took me about 3 months, apparently, before I'm a bit slow on the uptake. She said, "The problem with you is you don't stop still long enough to hear."
Yeah.
Right, so that was a lesson.
Wow.
Anyway, it turned out that was my grandmother, who passed away before I was born, who was always interested in psychic matters and in the spiritualist church in those days and fortune telling. My mother said she was always, you know, visiting a fortune teller or something. But that was the kickoff, really. And then it went whooshy quick. Before I knew it, I'd passed all my PC training to somebody else, and I was getting information from the guides. One was a gorgeous, great big North American Indian guide. And one day he said to me, I love talking to him. I know it sounds a bit weird, but immediately I started to do this, I could see beings in spirit, and I could see, like I can see now, people's past lives. And I'm not a healer that can see, oh, you've got cancer or anything like that. I just don't really want to go there, perhaps. But I do see the causes behind things, and I'm very visual anyway, because I like to paint, and I like writing, and so the whole visual thing's very simple for me, and it was wonderful. So I could see my guide. I mean, it was so clear to me. I could see everything about him. And he said, I want to give you a symbol. And my first reaction is, first of all, I said, look, I don't want a North American guide, because this is about 25 years ago. It was quite sort of the trend to have these, to have North American guides and shamans. And so no, I don't want it looks like I'm just copying. And he said, well, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere.
I've got any choice.
With me. That's right. And then he said, I'm going to give you a symbol to use, which will invoke a stream of energy, a pure high frequency stream of energy, which is perfect for healing and lifting people's whole spirit energy. And I said, oh, but that's like a bit like Reiki, isn't it? I don't know whether I really want to go looking like another, I don't want to do like a copy. I've got a real ism about copying other people's work. So something that's obviously happened in the past life. I've obviously hit trouble through it. So I've learned that lesson. I just want it to be authentic. I want it to be true and real as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, he said, well, look, I'm going to use this symbol on you. So he drew this symbol in the air in front of me. And I just got this incredible feeling whooshing through me again. And I thought, I'll have that. Thank you very much.
Wow. And that was the first symbol, was it?
That was the first symbol of 34th. I think it's like 34. I've lost count now of the symbols. And each one has a different intention. So a different vibration. So all of those symbols have been put into this book.
Yeah, all in this book. For anyone who's interested in finding out more about Anne's symbols, these symbols that have been delivered to her personally, that she now delivers them to you in this wonderful book. So it's fascinating, Anne, absolutely fascinating story. And thanks to you and all your guides over the years. And you now have an international presence. I mean, you've spent the last 30 years taking this across the globe, haven't you? You were talking to us earlier about your beautiful Japanese background there, and you're very, very big in Japan.
Yes, that's right. Once I got going on this and got excited about it, I started to teach and do seminars. In those days, you had to get on the plane and go somewhere, and I started writing books. The books came naturally. They were published by Piatkas, and the international side of it just got very large. Fortunately, with Tony doing international work and me doing international work, I would just say, oh, he's going away, I'm going away, and off I go. Of course, a few years ago, that all stopped with when the COVID crisis came, and I started to use Zoom then, and that's been wonderful for me, because now most of my clients, my one-to-one clients, most of my webinar clients, they're from all over the world, so it's so easy. And the books, of course, have been translated into different languages, so I get lots of people contacting me through the books as well. And I think I know that How to Heal is now moving its way around the world through your work as well. Thank you very much for promoting it. It's really, the thing I love about this book, and this is my favorite book now of all time, because it's everything I've learned through my guides, everything I've learned from experience, everything I've learned from my clients. I wanted to put it into one volume to say, if you want to learn how to heal yourself and heal others, and healing is transforming your energies, basically making you changing whatever you want to change, changing that fear that's bugged you since childhood, getting rid of that anger that's traded you from your father, reprogramming yourself, basically, the way you want it to be in your life. I mean, that's what healing is. It's not somebody going woo-hoo, woo-hoo, and everything changes. I mean, you call upon these amazing energies of spirit, and then you get them to work for you, basically. And that's really the message of the book, is these are ways of doing it. And it's not like you have to follow it word for word either. I mean, I'm not a great person for a massive detail, but this is more guidance just to do what you want with it. And you can help your business, you can help the people around you, you can help your family, you can help anything that you're connected with through this the information in the book. And it's all simple stuff, you know.
So I suppose in a way you're what you're doing with your work is that as a healer and teacher, you're not only going out into the world with your books and yourself in the work that you do to actually heal people directly, but you're also teaching people how to heal themselves. Would that be right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've got people I've taught how to do it, and people are learning how to do it from the book. But a lot of people are using it as a bedside book, that I've got a problem, look it up, and this is what to do. And there was a lovely lady in South Africa who was a very famous herbalist and lovely on the radio all the time and the television in South Africa, because I lived there for a few years, Margaret. And she said, I love your books because I keep them on my bed, and then I'm lying in bed, and then, how do I handle this situation? And she says, if ever I open one of your books, the answer's always there. Like, I just open it straight out the healing symbol page, just how it goes. Because we've got this connection, haven't we, always anyway, the spiritual connection. And I suppose I utilize that a lot in my work, the fact that we are all connected. So that makes it easy. It makes it easy to connect through the book, and it makes it easy to connect through all the other work I do. I've got a whole number of YouTubes, for example, which I've used the energies and channeled the energies into those YouTube sessions, but the energy doesn't go away. I mean, the energy doesn't just disappear. So you can go in with those at any time and get a boost. So if you're at the end of a busy working day, you come back and you kick off your shoes and, oh my God, you reach for your glass of wine, and watch a meditation that just transforms your energy there and then. That's the sort of thing I like to do, you know.
Oh, that's lovely.
So there's all that's all covered there. Yeah, it's an exciting life. It's an exciting life.
And you know, and this wonderful international presence, and that nowadays, as you said, you don't even have to travel very far. You can maintain this wonderful international profile of yours and reach people all over the globe and connect in that lovely way that you describe with so many people. And I'm just interested to know, because I know we're aware that lovely Piatkas books who managed to sell the rights to many of your books many times over across the globe. Would you say that the books have really helped you to build that international profile? Have they helped you to reach all those people?
Definitely. I mean, I wrote some of those books nearly 20 years ago. Yeah. Some of them, of course, when you start writing them, you keep on. So I've got clients that come from all the parts of the world, literally from Australia, New Zealand, right through to Canada, all around the globe. Lots in Asia, because I lived in Asia, so I visited Asia a lot too. Yeah, definitely. And the latest ones were Portugal. I noticed they'd sold the rights of Healing Negative Energies, which was my bestseller, into Portugal. I must have been about 18 months ago. Brilliant. Because I'm getting a lot of people writing to me from Portugal now with their questions and their queries. So it's fantastic. I wish they could translate them into English sometimes, because my Portuguese isn't so good. But I'm learning. I've learned how to use the translator, Google Translator. It's
It's
fine.
a shame it doesn't go both ways, isn't it? So, you know, your book can go out there in dozens of languages. It's a shame that we can't automatically get the same languages back.
Yeah, no, but that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, and an awful lot of people speak English now too, so that's good. Yeah, and I've got stuff. When I do my work for Japan, for example, I have a translator, so that if you can get around all these situations, yeah. And of course, the energy is well international. It's universal, so it's
of course.
You speak a universal language when you use the symbols, which I'm pretty keen on the symbols, because they allow you to do things without you thinking, can I do this, and get through your own lack of confidence or self-doubts. When you use symbols, it's a language of its own, so you just draw the symbol, and that's your intention set, and then there's the response, and the energy comes through. That's the magic of it, which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. It saves you worrying what mood you're in. And so many people say, I can't heal because, I don't know whether I can really do it. So you don't need to know. Let the symbols do it.
It's really lovely that. I mean, I'm wondering if you have a perspective on, how your work in these books, and particularly this book, and as you say, it's your favorite, not just, I think, because it's the youngest child, but because it actually has really pulled your work together, hasn't it? In such a way, and the way that you've included every symbol that you've ever been given and that you've ever used. I mean, I'm just wondering if you have a perspective on, why now? Why is this book so special in the world now? What's going on that makes such a difference?
Well, it's interesting. Just another little story. I could go on all day, and I know we have a limited time, but I had a past life regression, which took me to life in Egypt, where I was a priest. And times were difficult. There were a lot of challenges going on in that time. And I was told by my guides in that lifetime, I had to put the symbols that I've been using, those symbols, away, to be hidden away, because they were being compromised, to be brought out at a time when the world would need the extra powers and the personal powers that those symbols invoked, and a time of the new dawn. Now, I had that past life regression about 15 years ago, and it's always stuck in my mind. In fact, I'm writing it into a book of fiction now. The point is that now is the time, and I am here now, and I was that priest that put those things away, and now I am here now to pass them on, because we're in a world of a really challenging time, because we are endeavoring to lift our energy and move into a better place. People call that ascension. I mean, it's ascension time. It's a major shift. It is a new dawn. It's time when people are going to be more kind, more careful, more thoughtful to each other. Nations will be led by people who care rather than people who are power hungry. It's a big shift going on. And the old energy is fighting back at the moment, which is why it's so difficult in the world just now, why people are struggling with all the mental health issues and everything that's going on. It's also a time when the bad things, if I can call them that, are coming to the surface. So bad behavior and abusive behavior, and so it's coming up to be healed. And it's a time where we need an extra force of energy to help us. And that's what I was told, that these symbols were here to give us that, like a helping hand. They're like the friends that come in to help. And this is a time when we need it. And it's quite interesting that prediction really is I think is true. We need access to high frequency energy to help us just get through our day sometimes, let alone move ourselves forward spiritually, if that's what you want to do. I think most people are evolving spiritually, or whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we're all doing it. Everything we experience is evolving us, helping us learn and taking us into a wiser and better place. But anything that can help people get through some of this difficult times at the moment, but also wonderful times, because there's so much wonderful work being done, and the young people are full of such inspiration. I'm amazed at what some of them are doing, and I think it's all going to go the right way. I'm a great optimist anyway.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Well, what I love about your work, and you've mentioned it several times in our chat today, is just how practical it is. That's the thing. I love the fact that you give us the tools, to help us to heal ourselves. And I think that's so powerful, and it's so accessible. And one of the things I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows, because I think it's probably time sadly, I can't believe how quickly it's gone, but it's time for us to begin to wrap up now. But I did want to just mention, you mentioned it as well earlier, your YouTube channel particularly. Obviously, there's the books, there's this one, but there's all the other books I think are still in print, aren't they, Anne? Or most of them are.
Most of them are, yeah. One of them's ebook, but yes, most of them are still.
Yeah, so you can access all of Anne's books, including obviously this, which is her favorite and our favorite for obvious reasons. Access all of those, absolutely wherever you buy your favorite books. So How to Heal, available at any retailers, and also Anne's YouTube channel is Anne Jones Healer, or you can Google Anne Jones and you will find her, and her website as well, which is actually, it's on a ticker tape below. So there you go. You've got Anne Jones's YouTube, and also her website, where you can find loads of very practical resources to help you on your healing journey. It's been an absolute delight, and thank you so much for joining us today and telling us your fascinating story. I think we've had quite a few people saying hello to you on Facebook. We've had Eri Hosoda says hello, Anne. Trina, lovely Trina. We all know it's been a wonderful Trina.
Yeah.
Leanne said hello. Love you, Annie. Such an inspiration as always. Teresa, good morning, Anne Jones. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And if you have a book idea that you feel you would like to share in an author talk like this one day, once you've published your book, please reach out to me, to us at The Right Book Company. We'd love to hear your idea, your story, particularly if you have a book that you want to get out into the world to make a difference to people's lives and to make a difference to yours. So please get in touch at therightbookcompany.com/discovery, and I would be delighted to have a chat with you. So just remains for me to say, before we bow out, just again, thank you, Anne. It's been an absolute delight.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, Paul, for all the work you've done. Bless you. And thank you, Trina. Bless you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye now. Bye.